Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. It is the most earth-breaking, crowd-shaking, but never media show money-taking, the man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying YouTuber in all of YouTube entertainment today, General Zod. And today, uh, I was going to come out, do the box office numbers, all that good shit. But then I got some late breaking news. So, here on the channel, I don't cover a lot of celebrity deaths or whatever. I just don't have a lot of the celebrities that I feel that much of a pull towards where I have to do a whole thing. I am going to be doing a tier list for Sam Neill, who recently passed, but a very shocking death occurred. And why I choose to talk about this particular person is because they've had a direct impact, literally, on the stuff I watch. What's up, Krumel? Good to see you. Um, and so I felt like I was going to do this segment. Hello, good to see you here. So I felt like I was going to do this segment to kind of pay respect to somebody who made a show that really changed the course of my life. They did two really good shows that I enjoyed. Nashville, which the ending was kind of whatever, but the rest of the series was pretty stellar. And of course, if you guys have been on my channel, you know I am a huge fan of the show Heroes. One of, if not probably in my top 10 villains of all time, would be Sylar. And I actually named my various accounts things after Sylar. But the main star of that was Hayden Panettiere, who has recently passed away due to heart complications. Now, I don't want to put anything out there, but just from the sounds of it, it is more than likely drug related. And I'm going to get into some of the backstory. I found a lot out while doing some research, getting ready to talk about this topic. So let's just dive right in. I got one article and I'll share kind of other different stuff I found out while researching this. But this I pulled from ABC, and you guys can follow me in the pinned comments. But actress Hayden Panettiere dies at the age of 36 from cardiac arrest, which is kind of wild to me because if you guys don't know, she was born in about 89 and I was born in 84. So even age wise, they're relatively close. I mean, she's slightly younger than I am, which is even more kind of sad for this whole entire situation. She did a lot of stuff, but most of her notable work would be Heroes, Nashville, and of course, the Scream franchise, if you guys are Scream fans. She played probably one of the better characters, the newer characters that were introduced. Kirby, she was in the newer Scream as well, or not the newest one, but like Scream 6 or something. They brought her character back. She was actually supposed to have a bigger role, which I'm gathering now is not going to happen. But they say that the cause of death is still to be determined. But I mean, they found Narcan and a bunch of different other stuff. I'm going to just put a guess out here that it was drugs. She had been struggling variously through her life with addiction. There's some horrendous stories about the type of stuff that she might have gone through. And I want to say this because she is a childhood actor and it's a very different ball game. And you can look at like Drew Barrymore or other famous Haley Joel Osment, like these child actors that have really bad shit happen. And apparently in her life, she also dealt with a lot of stuff. She was given drugs at a young age, which contributed to some of her addictions that she got later on. She's been through a couple of divorces, and I think it's just a really hard life, especially when you're in the space. Hey, good to see you, damn it, Mandy. Hello, I'm glad to see everyone here. So yeah, I'm gonna start with the depressing stuff first, and then I'll get to the not depressing stuff. But right now, I'm just talking about Hayden Panettiere and her recent passing, and we're just gonna kind of go over what happened, and then I'm gonna jump into my other stuff for today. This was not really planned by me. I didn't even hear about this until like last night. and I was at work, so I wanted to cover it here. And yes, I'm doing more of a afternoon show, but anyways, so let us continue on with the article. It says that actress Hayden Panettiere was found in cardiac arrest prior to her death. The Greenville County Coroner's Office said in a press release on Monday. First responders and emergency medical services responded to a 911 call to residents in Greenville, South Carolina on Sunday, and located Panettiere, 36, unresponsive and in cardiac arrest. The coroner's office said responders initiated advanced cardiac life support measures, but resuscitation efforts were unsuccessful, and the actress was pronounced deceased at 2:32 p.m., officials said. The coroner's office said an autopsy was completed on Monday and that there was no signs of trauma were discovered that would have contributed to the death. Panettiere official cause and manner of death remains pending further investigation and the completion of additional studies, the coroner's office added. The release noted that Panettiere had been temporarily staying at the residence where she was found. The coroner's office said Greenville City Police Department have since initiated a parallel investigation into her death, according to its release. Panettiere representative previously confirmed her death to ABC News on Sunday, saying an investigation into her death was ongoing. In a statement, Panettiere father asked for privacy. As our family takes time to process the unimaginable loss, it is with profound sadness that we share a tragic passing of our beloved Hayden. Her father, Skip Panettiere, told ABC News she was an incredible light and a force of nature who brought immeasurable love and joy to all those who knew her and to the millions who watched her on screen. Beginning as a child star actress with a long career in both TVs and film, Panettiere is remembered for a role as Claire Bennett on the hit TV series Heroes and as Juliet Barnes on Nashville, which I just want to kind of stop there. Oh, was it? Yeah. Also, too, very good points. Damn it, Mandy said this is so sad. I know she struggles. I believe at one point she couldn't pay her phone bill, and she was fighting with her ex-fiance and her mother, and also never got over her brother's death. Yeah, that was also tragic too. Yeah, I remember The Titans as well. That was a great movie, dude. I still can't believe that's her. In that movie, she was so young, but yeah. And the reason why I wanted to highlight this too was, unlike most actors or actresses where you hear about this stuff, and one could say that her lifestyle contributed to her death, but there was also a lot of personal things going on that in this case, it just makes you really feel for her situation and everything that she was going through. It's just, you know, you hit the nail on the head. It's super sad. In the memoir, Panettiere had been candid about her struggles from child stardom through adulthood. She released her memoir this May titled "This Is Me, A Reckoning." In the memoir, she shared a rare, intimate glimpse into her life behind closed doors, opening up about postpartum depression, addiction and recovery, trauma, domestic abuse, and loss, according to the synopsis of her book. She is the mother of one child, a daughter, Kaya. I'm not even going to attempt to say that last name, who she had in 2014 with her ex-fiance, heavyweight champion Vladimir Klitschko. In an interview with Good Morning America in 2022, Panettiere opened up about grappling with alcoholism and postpartum depression. I didn't know where my alcoholism was ending and the postpartum was beginning, Panettiere said, and I ran myself pretty ragged. She said the years that followed her role on Nashville had been difficult. She said the years before were very difficult for me too, and I just needed a break. Panettiere went on to reprise her role as Kirby Reed in the Scream franchise, which released on March 2023. Hayden had spoke openly about her grief, saying in an interview with People 2 years after his death, "I will always be heartbroken about it. I will never be able to get over it," she told an outlet. "No matter how many years go by, I will never get over his loss." Panettiere would have turned 37 years old on Friday. So a bit of a Debbie Downer that I'm starting on. I do apologize for that. I know who her ex was. A total asshole. The guy in from all reports I've heard, like in real life, a complete scumbag. And look, I'm not a lady. I will never go through the postpartum depression and stuff like that. But having a alcohol issue and being in the middle of postpartum depression and having her brother die and the shit going on with her ex, this would be almost there's two big deaths that shocked me in all of my time covering media. The first one was Heath Ledger. I just imagine to this day how different the Batman Nolan trilogy would have been if Ledger was still alive. But more importantly than that, his death was so strange. And to this day, there's really big confusion about how exactly he died. Now, some people say that he purposely overdosed, but then there's other rumors that are swirling around that it could have been accidental and all this stuff. So it was a different kind of feel for me. And this is the same thing where I woke up and it was like, wow, someone younger than me went into cardiac arrest and died. Like, that is just crazy. And the thing is, a lot of the stuff I've watched and a lot of the stuff over the years that I've grown to enjoy and have shaped my opinion on media, a lot of things she was in. And I dare say probably one of my first crushes, like her and Sarah Michelle Gellar, pretty much neck and neck for which one holds a place in my heart. So when this dropped, I was like, oh, wow, it's insane to me just how quickly this stuff can happen. Here's an actress, has tons of money, and is going through it, I'm sure. But, she, from what I heard, she was in talks to return to Scream for the newest volumes and things like that. And they were doing stuff with her character. And, she had so much potential still left. I mean, you look at, someone, Sam Neill, who passed away. We recently had a couple of old school directors passed away. They lived a long, full life. And it's sad, but we can look back at all of their works. And while Hayden has had tons of stuff she's done in her career, I still feel like there was a lot more. And there was a bit of a renaissance coming back into her career. And it's another situation where one of these young actors or actresses pass away before, things could be resolved. And I don't know. I wanted to bring it to you guys because it's not often that someone who has affected stuff that I do on my channel, or someone passes that has affected me as an artist or what I do here on YouTube. It's not often that I kind of feel the need to bring it up. Someone passes, it's going to happen to us all. But I think the thing that really is just heartbreaking is when someone that young goes. So, oh yeah, I am sad about Bruce Campbell. I'll tell you right now, we lose Bruce too. This is going to be one of the roughest years, but Bruce is tough. I think I put faith in the fact that Bruce Campbell, I've actually had the pleasure of running into in conventions and things like that. And such a great guy, such dedication to fans and, just being real. And to see these people that you kind of admire and look up to, and everybody has a famous person, all of us out there, we all have these famous people or things like that who, we kind of idolize. That's the whole point of Hollywood and things like that. There's certain actors and actresses that just naturally catch you. Like me, I'm a big Hugh Jackman whore. Anything he's in, the man has so much charisma, so fucking awesome. Seems like a cool guy to just hang out with and have a couple of drinks. If you guys know my channel, I'm a huge Nicolas Cage fan. Meeting Nick Cage in any capacity, life goal complete. That'd be like one of the things I would really like to do before I die. There's just certain people that I feel touch a lot of lives. And especially with Hollywood, you never know what somebody's going through or what their situation is until we find out, or something sad happens. And it's just really a kind of tragic thing. And I wanted to kick off the stream with this because unlike this news, I do not plan to be depressed for the rest of this stream. So I just wanted to get my thoughts out of the way. And, just kind of put a little bit of a thank you. Yes, definitely RIP Hayden. And I'd like to think, just to put a bow on this before we get into the fun stuff, I would really like to think and hope that she is in a better place right now. And, that she finds that happiness and that the people that are left behind, that they can pick up the pieces and move on. And my heart goes out to all of the relatives and the people close to her. And hopefully we not only find out what definitively happened, but, I just hope that the people who are left are able to move on and be able to deal with this, because it's a very tough situation. Oh, nice. So there's a convention coming around I was planning to go to. Sam Raimi will be there, but Bruce had to pull out. Yeah, I heard he's going to be doing less appearances until he gets better. But that'd be a good one to see Raimi. That's another person on my bucket list to go and visit. But let's jump to the fun stuff. Numbers, box office numbers. Why am I so fixated on numbers these past couple of weeks? Because there's two movies that are just fucking destroying the box office. And they've even, I would say, impacted some movies that I liked. So I'm going to go through a couple of the top movies for this week, kind of give you my thoughts. I've seen everything on this list, so I'll kind of give you my own opinions on what I think is deserving of its box office status, but also what I think should be higher and unfortunately is not going to get there because fucking Spider-Man and The Odyssey are taking over the fucking box office. It's not even close. At this point, it's just like, when are they going to stop making money? So, yeah, Spider-Man's numbers. So Spider-Man, let's talk Spider-Man. Good thing. Spider-Man Brand New Day. First off, went to see this with the wife. I have to say, we thoroughly enjoyed this movie. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but I will say this is the best Tom Holland movie that I think he's done. And now, when I say this is the best Tom Holland movie, because a lot of people think I don't like the Tom Holland run. I'm a Tobey Maguire guy, okay? I'm old school. Actually, my fiance likes Andrew Garfield. I don't know if it's because he's hot or that's just the first Spider-Man she clicked with, but that's her Spider-Man. But Holland never did it for me. I don't know what it is about him. He's got like that boyish young Spider-Man thing, but as he's been in this role, I've been waiting for him to grow up. And this is the movie where he finally fucking grows up. And the themes and everything, I didn't honestly expect to like this movie as much as I did. And it's easily in my top 10 movies. It's battling Odyssey for number one right now. So it's been a hell of a year for movies. Oh, thank you. I actually watched A Longhorn. Great show. The old man got me this hat straight from Texas. So yeah, it kind of goes with the gimmick. Thank you. The Odyssey, I know a lot of people don't want to go and see it. I would say don't believe the things you hear. I've seen it 3 times. It's not woke or any of that nonsense. It's just, it's packed with a lot of actors, and half of them didn't really need to be there. That was my issue, was that just because you can get big actors doesn't mean you should go out and get every fucking actor under the sun. And I think it really undercuts a lot of great performances. But the MVP for this year has got to be Anne Hathaway. She's on a fucking roll. Devil Wears Prada 2 was my new jam. She did The Odyssey. She's got this other thriller movie coming out, which I'm definitely going to go see because her and Dakota Johnson are going to be in it, and both of them are not going to be wearing clothes, so I'm there day one. But yeah, I agree with you. But this one, you might change your mind. I will say, if you're not a big fan of the Holland runs, definitely give this one a shot. It's more, you see more of his acting range, and he is really good if he's allowed to act. When he's kind of just stuck in this like supporting character in his own movie, it's really weird. This movie is driven by Spider-Man, which I really appreciate, and it's very ground level. So there's a street level problem. It's not a big end of the world situation. It's an end of New York kind of a situation. And they even explain why the Avengers don't get involved in the most fucking hilarious explanation given. By the way, Yelena, Florence Pugh, crushed it. A lot of people don't like her. I think she's great. She'll never top my ScarJo, but for what the role requires, she's really hilarious in this. So definitely a great movie. But I'm sorry, I get, I'm like a squirrel with ADD. I get distracted. So let's go to the numbers. And the first one I got to talk about for the start of this is going to be, it's definitely going to be Spider-Man Brand New Day. So far, people have been saying this movie would not reach past 2 billion, but now it's looking like this movie's probably gonna end at 2.5 or 3 billion. That's gonna be my guesstimate with the way the numbers is. The domestic box office is at 786 million 530 or 43,660, and the international is at 1 million, bringing the total, or the international, I'm sorry, misrepresented that, 1 billion, and so it brings the domestic total to 2 billion. Internationally, being at $1 billion is fucking outstanding to begin with. This movie is probably going to be hands down the biggest movie of this year. It's not even close. And it's going to be one of the few movies that is not only the biggest movie to come out this year, but to make a considerable amount of money back if you minus Obsession, because Obsession was a weird outliner. So we have, of course, Spider-Man sitting there pretty comfortably. It's at number 1 right now. It's not even close. And it's just interesting to see how much the drop off from week to week has been low. If you look at the week's drop off so far, it's been at about a 40 to 50% drop off, which is tremendous and what you want to be at as far as your film goes. That means it has legs and repeat viewing, which means this thing's going to be a fucking colossal monster. Up next is The Little Engine That Could, The Odyssey, well past $1 billion, and it's profitable. They have at least, from what I guessed, 250 million plus, depending on how the run goes, of profit. Now, the interesting thing about The Odyssey and why we were trying to track this and find out the numbers is the fact that The Odyssey also has a thing with the director Nolan taking 20% off the top of the box office revenue, which directly cuts into what the studio was going to get. So a lot of actors took this in a profit share kind of a thing, but according to all reports, it's still a very profitable movie. Even with Nolan taking 20%, the actors taking a little bit extra from the box office, none of that is going to affect this. The studio has made well over its money. It's probably one of the most successful Nolan films. As far as I know, it hasn't topped Titanic or Avatar quite yet, but it's on its way. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to surpass them very soon. It's definitely going to, and I got to be honest with you, I think Avatar is overrated. So I'm going to be super happy to see that fucking movie dethroned. Titanic's great, but I don't even know how Avatar made it in there. Maybe it's just me. I know a lot of people like the first movie. I did not. I hated all the movies. So I would love to see that actually be fucking dethroned. I think Sunrise of the Reaping will bring in millions this November. I got to be honest with you. I don't know. I feel like the Hunger Games franchise has been kind of dying off. I will tell you, damn it, Mandy, I am one of the people looking forward to that movie. So let's take a look at a couple of other different things this week, a couple of different movies. We have The End of Oak Street, which is a movie that I really enjoyed. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to make its money. It had a really poor opening. It's at 47 million, which is not good at all. According to the budget, this thing has to make at least 250 million over, and it is in the red. I think it's going to lose a considerable amount of money. How much it's going to lose is going to depend on how it performs these next 2 weeks for me to come back and give you a definite answer. And it's a shame because it reminded me a lot of a modern Jurassic Park. So I think I think that it's really a shame that two of the biggest movies happen to be going on simultaneously, because little gems like this get lost in the shuffle. The dinosaur action was very cool. I thought it was great. Of course, the Queen, Anne Hathaway, is in it. She's fantastic. Ian McGregor gives a great performance. And it's sad because I just don't think it's going to make its money. And it's one of those films that's just going to be buried this year. Another good movie that came out that is doing well, that's not doing well, but I wanted to highlight it, is going to be, I don't even know if it made it. Holy crap, Backrooms is still on here? My goodness. Okay, Evil Dead Burn, Around Tony. One Night Only. So One Night Only is a rom-com. If you guys don't know, I'm a bit of a rom-com fan. Like me a good romantic comedy. One Night Only is a very interesting take on the romance trope where two New Yorkers have one night a year to have premarital sex. Picture The Purge, but instead of murder, you can have random sex with anybody you want to. So One Night Only is a very weird, interesting twist. And I think that it was released at a really poor time, and it's the most expensive rom-com that I've seen made. I think it was like 40 million or something, 50 million. Now that doesn't sound like a lot of money, but for romantic comedies, that's a shit ton of money. And the sad part is the two leads in this movie have great chemistry. I'm a whore for anything that takes place in New York. And it's just a really, like, it's shot on location, you could tell, and it's a really interesting movie. But my issues is, for the subject that it's talking about, they don't really dive into it that much. So the premise being that premarital sex is illegal, which is an interesting concept because it gets into people's autonomy and things like that. So you have a very interesting, rich kind of thing to talk about. And the issue with One Night Only is that it's made by a dude who does comedy. I forget the director's name, but he focuses more on the comedy angle than he does about trying to tackle anything serious. And this isn't one of those like political statement kind of movies, but when you throw something in like that and you don't do nothing with it, and it's literally the whole premise of the movie, it's kind of weird disconnect. So I found moments in it very funny. I thought as far as the comedy or the romantic angle goes, it's a great one to go to. You know, it's nothing new that you haven't seen. You know, a guy meets a girl, they only got one night to hook up, and then he realizes he loves her and he's trying to get her back. Yeah, you fucking seen the premise 1,000 times. What makes One Night Only interesting is the angle that premarital sex is illegal. I thought that's such an interesting little twist to throw into one of these movies, but they don't do anything with it. And that is a big issue. And I think that's the issue that a lot of reviews I saw for the movie. I liked it. I wouldn't put it in my top 10, but it's definitely a watchable movie. Unfortunately, the Amazing Digital Circus on there, I know. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to make its money back. It's looking like it's going to lose its money. Another interesting one I've been tracking is Toy Story. I thought it was a great entry. Really liked it. It was the first time in a long time I've seen them actually make a topic that is relevant for today and do the classic heartfelt, emotional beats to it. Now, Toy Story 5 is a huge success. It's sitting at 1 billion, 115 million, 340, or sorry, 1 billion. Yeah, 115 million, 340,965. Jesus, big numbers. But yeah, so Toy Story has been very profitable. It's losing its theaters and things like that. It's not going to be probably in theaters for very long, but it was a pretty good movie. And so another win for Disney. We also have here a bit of a black horse, a show I haven't watched in a long time. In our number 4 spot, fucking Paw Patrol. I got a funny story about Paw Patrol. So I have never been... Oh, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, that was my biggest... Yeah, I agree. That was my biggest problem with One Night Only, is that if you have an idea in your movie and it's the focal point, you definitely need to capitalize on it. Otherwise, it's just like you threw it in there. And it does add to funny gags and bits, but I feel like instead of constructing the story or the jokes around the story, they constructed the story around the jokes. So it's very unusual. Oh yeah, Toy Story 5 did great. It was definitely really, really good. And I'd honestly say it was up there for me. My favorite Toy Story is Toy Story 3 because it's a nice capper. And for me, it was probably up at that level. It's got a very sweet kind of awesome thing about technology and AI and the effects that it has on our kids and how the newer generation is so hooked into the internet and they're losing the human connection. A lot of the movie is about human connection. It's the struggle of the toys now is actually being used because kids are moving towards electronics. And I thought it was such a great premise. And it's been years since they've come up with a great premise. But surprisingly, our number 4 is Paw Patrol. Now, with Paw Patrol, I have kind of PTSD. When my daughter was young, she loved Paw Patrol. Used to watch the fucking thing all the time. There's like fucking 16 of these movies. And I have no clue how much they make these things for. But these things are bangers. And they always end up on like 3 or 4. Or they're at least in the top 5 as far as brackets go. So, Paw Patrol is actually looking to make some money, which is just fucking crazy. Anybody who has kids, let me know if you like watch these new Paw Patrol movies or whatever. I can't. There's too many movies for me to watch in a year. And so I'm not going to go back to like kiddie movies just to rate them. But yeah, Paw Patrol, super huge. I may see the Bluey movie. I'm not going to lie. Bluey is a bit of a guilty pleasure. I just find it like Aussie accents really awesome. And so like seeing Bluey and the way they talk and all that, I don't know, and it's got good lessons. You know what? Don't fucking judge me, okay? I need a break sometimes. All right. Sometimes I want to sit down and watch fucking Bluey. Anyways, that isn't the point. That's a movie I'll probably go and see in the theater at like noon when no one's there. So anyways, that's the top box office spots. Records right up there with Girl Scout cookies, $6 a box. Oh yeah, dude, Bluey is the shit. I like, look, I haven't been a youngster in a long time, but sometimes I'll be flipping around, you see an episode, and man, I learned some shit on that show. I'll be like, wow. Dude, Bluey is crazy because they also talk about like very heavy topics that would totally go over kids' heads. And it's like sitting there watching it going, holy shit, they like tackle like same-sex marriages and all this other shit. And I was like, wow. And I think that it does it in a way that's not condescending, but educational. I think it's one of the few shows I've watched where I see the appeal and why it's a big thing and it is so popular, because it's not only there for the kids, but the toughest thing to find to watch is shit for younger audience and yourself and to be entertained. And so Bluey just hits those notes for me. So you guys found out, you heard it here first. I'm a big Bluey fan. Speaking of being a fan, I got to take a break really quick here to thank the sponsor for my channel, moviepalette.com. If you would like to get an awesome movie palette like your boy here, I have, of course, Nicolas Cage, National Treasure as my movie palette. You can go to the links in the description, hit moviepalette.com, put in zone 15, and you can save 15% off of all of your purchases. And if they're having a sale, you get my 15% discount and the sale that they're running. So thank you to moviepalette.com. They've been sponsoring the channel for like 2 years now. They actually go through my videos to see if I do promos. So, you know, good luck to whoever's watching my fucking 3-hour streams to see if I shout people out. But there you go. Thank you, moviepalette.com, for sponsoring the channel. And now back to our awesome show. I've got a lot of cool things. The first thing I want to talk about here is a big one, and one that I find amusing. And now, look, I know a lot of people have issues with this merger, but I'm just going to say it. I'm glad that Paramount and them are getting Warner Bros. And not Netflix, because having watched a couple of Netflix movies recently, they would put everything onto streaming and they'd never release anything in theaters. It'd be a fucking nightmare. I'm not saying Paramount's a better company, but what I am saying is it's the lesser of two evils. At least they release shit in the theaters and they want to continue releasing shit in the theaters. But the biggest debacle is that Paramount is now demands that the state post a $1.88 billion bond amid the Warner Bros. Antitrust suit, which is very fascinating. Now, here is my whole take on this. I think that this merger in particular is fucking weird, and I'll tell you why. Microsoft brought out a bunch of fucking gaming companies and then shut those fuckers down. They literally monopolized the gaming space, and they have Blizzard, Take-Two Entertainment, a bunch of fucking things, right? In the movie world, we've seen Disney buy every fucking thing in the world. Why this one purchase is being blocked, and this is just a cowboy hat tinfoil theory. I think they're blocking it because somebody doesn't want Warner Bros. To be owned by them for some corporate reason. This is not altruistic. The state is not blocking this because they want to protect the consumer and they want to make sure there's no monopolies. That's horseshit. My honest opinion, and I will die on this hill, is there's political bullshit behind the scenes. and somebody didn't pay somebody else, and now they are doing what they can to block this merger because their reasons make no fucking sense whatsoever. Because if fucking California or any of these other places gave a shit about all of these fucking companies and antitrust laws, they would have blocked Disney 3 or 4 times now, or fucking pick another company that's merged with another one. This isn't even a drop in the bucket to how big Amazon, Netflix, Disney, or any of the other giants are. So why is this one merger so fucking divisive? Well, let's see what the article has to say. So Paramount demands that they pay this. The David Ellison-led group says that the state AG plaintiffs are required to post bonds so that if they lose, the injured party has a source of recovery for the damaged cause. Paramount Skydance is demanding that the states suing to block its $111 billion deal for Warner Bros. Discovery post a nearly $1.9 billion bond to be I'm not going to read out that number, but you get the gist. It's 1.9, 1.8, around there. They rounded it. To be precise, pending the outcome of the litigation. In a statement Monday, the company led by CEO David Ellis says that the bond demand is based on settled federal law, both the Clayton Act and the federal antitrust law upon which these suits are based, and other federal law expressively provided that, oh my God, stupid Poppins. Okay. Expressly provide that the plaintiffs are required to post a bond covering the potential harm or halting a transaction to litigate, so that if they lose, the injured party has a source of recovery for the damaged caused. The company said in the statement, here, every month of delay carries substantial, quantifiable financial consequences. And now here's the thing that makes this situation so interesting to me is that, yes, thank you. And I don't know, I think that it is legal. I from what I'm gathering, what them blocking it is a legal move. It's in their rights. But if that's the case, and look, I don't side with corporations. Like, here's the deal, folks. I'm just going to let you know. I am not a fan of corporate America here. I'm not saying these big companies like Crimea River, with your fucking billions of dollars, that they deserve some kind of break. But here's the thing. These states are actively blocking this sale, which very, very fine line of how legal what they are doing is legal. And I think it's fair for Paramount to have a bond in place if they're successful in blocking this merger, because they are putting up $111 billion. This is not small potatoes. And if you're going to go and put this much effort into damaging stuff, because here's the deal, folks, behind the scenes. Warner Bros. Doesn't know what to do with DC or these other properties because they're in transition, and what they assumed Paramount was going to buy them. And before the paperwork and everything could go through, now you have states who have a wild hair up their ass that want to block this. I don't side with a company that often, but I don't see where they are not entitled to some kind of compensation, especially if this thing gets litigated and they lose, because now nobody gets money. All of the plans and stuff they're doing behind the scenes to integrate everything in together is fucked. And so this is wild to me, the effort that's being put into trying to block this sale. Like, honestly, I would really like to know who the fuck's not being paid off, because clearly someone along the way didn't get their cut of the profit and is pissing all over this deal. I don't know if it's a rival business that got the wheels going, but this seems like a lot of fuckery. Oh, hello, lovely Sherry. Good to see you. We're talking about the Paramount Warner Bros. Merger and how Paramount is now countersuing for a bill or a bond to be provided for any losses in case their purchase is blocked, which means that their case, they may not win this. If they're requesting this, they are preparing for it if they don't get this merger, which is going to be fucking scary, because keep in mind, folks, the other people who wanted to buy Warner Bros. Was Netflix and Amazon. And you do not want this company going to those streaming services, because they will not only own Warner Bros. Entire library, but they're also going to put everything onto their platform. Nothing will be a theater experience. Like, think about all of the movies Warner Bros. Has had, a couple of $1 billion movies themselves. And if I'm not mistaken, they also did Weapons and a bunch of other successful movies. That will all be under whoever umbrella is purchasing it. And it's fucking scary if streaming wins this. So, anyways, they go on to say that Paramount counts Macon Durham, previously the chief of antitrust enforcement in the U.S. during the first Trump administration, as its head of legal affairs. So how did the company come to this $1.9 billion ask? Paramount is seeking a bond based on the straightforward calculation of maximum potential taking consideration and financing costs from this litigation, the company states. But these are not only the costs of the delay by virtue of what will be at least an 8-month delay in closing. There will be no integration and no ramped up investment in content, production, and creative talent by the combined companies. Of course, in addition, employees of both Paramount and WBD are also harmed by the uncertainties caused by the delay. The company also noted that as of Friday, all the global regulators have signed off on the deal, including the U.S. DOJ, leaving the state lawsuit as the last hurdle to clear, thus reinforcing why states should be on the hook for the bond. And I 100% agree. Look, here's the thing. I am all for people's rights to be able to block things. Antitrust laws, monopoly laws, those things, they were put into place for a reason. But I feel like this is bordering on abuse from the state, and that I don't know what their personal hangup is, but nobody is blocking this except for the states. And it's mainly California, which fuck them. And another state is included in this lawsuit. I forgot which. They'll probably say it in the article. But it's like 2 or 3 states blocking this. It's fucking ridiculous. And I would ask again, where were you people when Disney and Amazon and fucking Netflix and every other fucking creator on God's green earth was buying everything up? You know, remember when we were all living in the fucking plague days? These fucking companies were buying and selling other companies like it was just a fucking baseball card. And now, in the year of our Lord 2026, you have a fucking issue with this one merger, which leads me to believe that when Paramount was greasing the wheels, they forgot fucking Joe in accounting or some other fucking state senator wasn't paid. And so now they're fucking with this merger, which, if that's the case, I'm not saying maybe they're altruistic. Maybe I'm fucking wrong. Maybe they want to save our souls and stop these big companies from gaining a foothold. Maybe it's true, but I highly fucking doubt it. So my question becomes is, why? What is the big deal with this one particular merger? I mean, for fuck's sake, Microsoft had a month delay, maybe 2 at most, when they were buying Activision. And they had to do a shitload of hurdles and pay all of this stuff, but they did it. And here we are. Microsoft owns fucking everything and doesn't know what to do with their properties. And I am afraid that if you have companies that do this, it's going to get to a point where if you're blocking these companies that, like, to me, Paramount and Warner Bros. Is a comparable merge. Now, could there be fuckery on each side? Probably. Some things are going to go to Paramount. That'll bolster Paramount Plus. I know all the logistics behind that. But Paramount is still doing the theater experience. Their streaming service in the grand scheme of things is not as big as the other guys. So they don't have the incentive to bolster that kind of thing. And they said very clearly they want to still have Warner Bros. Do their thing, release their movies in theaters. They have HBO shows, things like that. They don't want to halt that. So my question is, what's the issue? What are we not seeing that apparently these fucking state legislators are so fucking bothered by? I don't know. I haven't heard anything that makes sense to me. And I'm not even a fan of neither of these companies, to be quite honest. I'm a DC fan. Warner Bros. Has been pissing me off for the better 20 years. And I mean, Paramount is a hit or miss. But I'm saying this is total bullshit. Yeah, and damn it, Mandy has a good point. Says, I can't imagine having to go through the government to sell my business. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. It is getting to a point where I think that the structure of how we're doing these things is fucked from top to bottom. And like shit like this happens. But if Disney announces tomorrow they're going to buy something, that shit will go through no problem. They'll have it done in like a month. It's fucking insane. So it bears emphasis that the pursuit of this lawsuit by the state's plaintiffs has created a substantial delay in closing. Although all regulators who have analyzed the deal have cleared it, the filing states the state plaintiffs have maintained that they cannot prepare for a trial any sooner than next spring, which is bullshit. If they wanted to, they would push that shit up. Because here's the thing, I don't think that they have anything to stop this. And I think this is just a stall tactic for the companies to lose money. Even though such a prolonged schedule between the time of the complaint and the trial is unusually long for a meager legislation of this nature, to say nothing of the fact that the state attorneys general had more than 6 months to investigate the transaction prior to filing the complaint. And so we're not starting from scratch, given the plaintiff's insistence upon delaying while standing as lone parties around the world objecting to this transaction. A bond is required to protect Paramount against financial harm wrought by circumstances, which I 110% agree. I hate to say it, but Paramount is right. They are being fucking hamstringed. And of course, fucking California. God damn. Dude, the root of all evil, I swear to God, is in California. Like, when I heard this lawsuit, I knew it was something to do with California. And here's the thing. In California, lots of palms get greased. I am willing to bet somebody didn't pay somebody. I bet you $100,000. That's what this whole thing is about. When they were doing this deal, someone somewhere got left out. And now they went to one of their buddies and they pitched a fit. And here's the thing. The government end is cleared. That's the insane part. This is the state holding up a merger. That is insane to me. Absolutely fucking insane. Especially California. So you didn't feel an urge to stop Disney? You didn't feel an urge to stop Netflix or Amazon when they were pulling their bullshit? No, this is where we draw the line. Paramount has been playing hardball with public pressure campaign since the lawsuit has been filed, with threats to leave the state of California, which they should. They say realistic or not, but they could totally leave California. They probably fucking save a shit ton shooting stuff, as well as accusations that partisan politics are at play. 100%. I am willing to bet thousands of dollars there's definitely some politics involved in this somewhere, because it's fucking California and it's Hollywood. Hollywood is divided on whether the states and company should try to settle or follow through the trial, further complicating the effort. But the bond is a tangible ask, one that would put taxpayers on the hook for this whole high-profile case. In response, California Attorney General Rob Bottin equated the bond demand to blackmail, which is fucking ridiculous. Of course, it would be the Californian Attorney General. He's a fucking clown, stating that Paramount is lying in the bed of their own making, which is totally... See, this pisses me off. Hold on. Now I got to go on a rant. This fucking pisses me off because here's the thing. They said, this Attorney General said that they're in the bed. Now they got to lie in it. You fuckers held them up. If a merger goes through the proper channels, it went through the investigation from the Congress, and it went up the chain and the DOJ and all the other fucking acronyms, and they said, yep, it's fine, we approve it. And then you have some dumb fucking California who has a hair up his ass, they probably didn't pay him off, going, oh no, this is wrong, and look what they're trying to do. I haven't heard the reasons of why they're blocking this. I've been following this fucking thing for months, and I still, for the life of me, got this half-ass explanation of what their big fucking issue is. They're not saying, which leads me to agree with Paramount and say this is a fucking political move. Because why is it the states blocking it? It's fucking election seasons and all this stuff, and they're someone somewhere is trying to get fucking points, and I'm willing to bet that's what it is. And this never happens to any of these other companies, which is the biggest thing that fucking pisses me off. Because if we're going to do this, then we should block these fucking companies across the board, not just pick and choose which ones because we don't like them that day or because they didn't fucking pay Joe Blow who gets the fucking coffee for the fucking Secretary of State. Like, and I'm not a fan of companies. I don't want shit being swallowed up. We should have more companies. Competition is good. But if things are done above board, and if things are being followed by proper legal procedure, then it's asinine to try to make this out to be some kind of secret shady deal. Like, maybe they see something I don't. Maybe the numbers don't add up. I don't know what it is. But why is it the state is stopping this and not the fucking government? Food for thought. And look, with the way our government is, I know people have their views, whatever else. It's very... business oriented kind of a year. And I get that. But at the same time, if we're going through legal channels by the law and legally following the right procedures, then I don't think they should be punished for that because they're going through the judicial process. I mean, we just got out of 5 different fucking mergers. And I know the gaming space is different, but Hollywood and games and tech basically run the same. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. I don't know what their hair up their ass is, or maybe this guy is up for a fucking re-election. I don't know, but it sounds fucking fishy to me. Paramount and Warner Bros. Are 2 sophisticated companies who willingly decided to include a costly ticking fee as a provision in their merger contract. They knew this merger would undergo regulatory review. They knew it would not be a done deal, and they choose to include it anyway. What's more, Paramount itself stipulated to the timing it is now protesting. They agreed to the dates and did not request a bond as a condition of agreeing not to close until after trial and potential as late as June 2027. Now they are trying to get a do-over. Bottom line, Paramount went into the process with their eyes wide open. They are lying in the bed of their own making and once again trying to blackmail us and to get us to back down. This whole thing is fucking so stupid. I can't even put into words how dumb I find this whole process. Like, this has got to be one of the worst mergers I've ever seen in probably history. This is so ridiculous. And it's kind of sad that I'm forced to side with Paramount here because I think this is total bullshit. I think this Attorney General is a fucking clown. And if he was really doing his job, he would stop all the other weird shit going on in fucking California and not worry about a fucking Paramount Warner Bros. Merger. Like, I don't understand it. I know it's fucking insane. Maybe they want to keep blue voters in California or keep red voters out. That's a total possibility. I didn't realize the states. Here's the thing: the states used a provision that's not often used. So I know a lot of people haven't been following this like this, but they aren't in their rights if they feel like it's going to harm the particular state. Now, being that Warner Bros. And Paramount are still in California, it opened them up to the state being able to block this. Now, if they moved and did the merger, it probably would have went smoothly. I have no clue why this was the particular hill that they've chose to die on. I still haven't heard a good reason. It's just, we don't like this merger. I don't have any other thing to go on. And if anybody has been digging into this or you know more, feel free to let me know. But from what I've gathered, they have not stated a definitive reason why they don't want this merger. It's kind of just been us trying to figure out what the fuck the state is thinking. But like I said, good luck. It's fucking California. So who the fuck knows what wild hair they got up their ass this week. It's just a terrible state. It's the reason why people are fucking abandoning the fucking state like rats off of a sinking ship, because the state tax is ridiculously high. Everything, the cost of living is stupid expensive. The cost of productions and stuff to shoot there is getting, it's growing by the day. A lot of productions are moving out to other places because it's just too expensive. So I say fuck them. Really, I hope Paramount wins this. Just simply because I don't like the way this was handled. And I'll be totally real and honest. Like, I know the drawbacks of these two merging. There are pretty huge drawbacks. But at the same time, when I see dumb shit pulled off like this, I tend to side with the person who's being wronged. And 100%, there's no reason for this. They haven't given a reason. They haven't given an explanation. So I'm just left to believe they're just prejudiced against Paramount. Like, I don't know. What the fuck conclusion am I supposed to draw? They just don't like fucking Paramount, I guess. Anyways, getting into some other awesome news. If you guys don't know, this guy here is a huge fan of a little show. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. Little semi-popular show called The X-Files. Yes, The X-Files is bringing Mulder and Scully back for a brand new season. Now, I got to preference this. The X-Files has had these reinventions. They had a newer series that came out that was absolute trash. And the sad part is the original creator came back to make the show. It was not very good. I also heard there's supposed to be an X-Files movie that's being shot by Ryan Coogler. So I'm very much intrigued about it. But according to Collider, and take this with a grain of salt because it is Collider, in August, there was quite a treat with the X-Files, multiple releases. The highly anticipated X-Files, I want to believe, Virgin Frankenstein, which is a terrible movie. I want to believe is absolutely horrible. Don't waste your time. It's a director's cut, and I gotta be honest with you, it was bad. It was very bad. But Ryan Coogler is doing an X-Files reboot, which still doesn't have an official premiere date yet. Despite the pilot episode having wrapped filming and post-production, either way, while fans keep anticipating dynamite entertainment with some fantastic news, the publishing company, per CBR, has acquired the X-Files comics books, making it the first time in years the beloved sci-fi series will return to comics. So we also have a return to comics, which is awesome. I've read some of the X-Files comics runs. They're pretty good. It's all right. Chris Carter worked with a lot of stories, so I definitely liked some of them. This one in particular was wrote by Joe Harris. and it is the official return of Mulder, Scully, and it's between 2 episodes of the original television series. Speaking about exciting debut, Harris expressed delight at collaborating with Dynamite in a press release, calling the opportunity a true honor. The writer confessed he has considered the Supernatural franchise sacred to him, dating back to watching the Mothership series. The further adventures of Agent Mulder and Scully have occupied a very special place in my head and in my career. Also, speaking about the project, Nick Barshio, Dynamite CEO, publisher, described the X-Files as the next jewel crown for Dynamite in working with Disney and 20th century territories. According to Bouchette, fans from multiple generations have enjoyed following Mulder and Scully as they investigate mysterious cases, making their stories a natural fit for serialized format comic books. He also added the team are dedicated to creating stories that will both delight longtime fans and newcomers to the franchise. So we do have a lot of exciting stuff here. The first big thing is that X-Files as a whole will always have a special place in my heart. I think that a lot of us can agree. Personally, I like the series Millennium slightly better. I thought it was a very underrated Chris Carter show. I actually brought all of the seasons, which is really hard to find. But with the X-Files in particular, I think it hit a point where most of the stories that needed to be told were told. I mean, X-Files has 15, 16 seasons. It's super long. And then we had the rebooted series. And now, according to this, Ryan Coogler will be rebooting the X-Files as a show. And I'm very intrigued that Ryan Coogler in particular is doing the show because Sinners was a fucking awesome movie, but B, I think it'll be very interested to see him doing a television format. It's different creating a long-term story versus a short movie kind of format, which Ryan Coogler does very well. But after seeing Sinners and the way he built that world to where he could do multiple movies and just give us little pieces of lore, I think that the X-Files is a perfect fit for his style. I think that he could bring a new kind of energy that the series hasn't had for years. So super excited about that. I definitely cannot wait for the new X-Files to premiere. But finally, I have something to talk about. And this is a little weird guilty pleasure of mine. So there's been a trilogy that I'm sure not a lot of people watched like I did. But we finally are getting from Marvel the official Wizard trailer. And I was excited about this because if you guys don't know, I'm a huge fan of The Blacklist. And one of the actor in that show is James Spader. And Spader returns in VisionQuest as Ultron. So we will have Ultron back. And I always liked the WandaVision, Agatha all along, the kind of weird, quirky shows. Agatha, I liked the last episodes. Wanda, I liked until the ending. I thought they kind of fucked up the ending with the big superhero fight that they were doing that year and everything. This seems like a big character piece. So the Disney Plus has officially released the first teaser trailer for Marvel's upcoming VisionQuest. Paul Bettany reprises his role as Vision alongside James Spader returning as the voice and avatar of Ultron. The 8-episode show serves as the final installment to the WandaVision trilogy, which is crazy because you got WandaVision, you got Agatha all along, and then this is the capper. So I think they've been a good little trilogy, good little side stories. Disney Plus and Marvel Studio first debuted its first official trailer for VisionQuest, setting an autumn launch date for 8-episode streaming series. The show marks the conclusion of the WandaVision trilogy. The footage opens with Vision living in a human form as a pub worker, reflecting on his past relationships with Wanda, Retreating into a hidden universe inside his own mind, the synthezoid grapples with his own lost memories and artificial identity. The teaser reveals James Spader as a rogue AI Ultron, alongside of James D. Verse reprising his role as Jarvis, who warns Vision about the dangers of harboring his former creator. Marking Bettany's first live-action Marvel Cinematic Universe appearance since WandaVision, the series explores an ensemble cast of Marvel's artificial intelligent entities. The roster features Emily Hampshire as Edith, Oral Brandy as Friday, Tyene Miller as Jocasta, and God, I'm not going to try to pronounce that, as the adult version of Tommy Maximoff. So I got to say, VisionQuest has been one of those ones where I don't think that it's going to be necessarily a high art, but I've been in this weird spot with Marvel. Hello, what's up? No, I wasn't even going to attempt to do that actor's name. It was fucking, yeah. Anyways, so what do I think? I watched the teaser for VisionQuest. I play it for you guys, but unfortunately, YouTube and Disney in particular are assholes about copyrights. But it's a very interesting trailer. And look, here's the thing. Out of all of the new stuff to come out of Marvel, I am a guy who likes experimental stuff. I loved Loki. I thought it was very visually stunning. The story was great. And it was different, but still felt within the universe. With WandaVision, I really loved the first couple of episodes. I thought it had a unique flair, an interesting story, a very different style. Agatha all along, I fucking hated till like I started to see what they were going for at the last 3 episodes. And it's not to say that the actress is bad. I love the actress who plays Agatha. It's just the show and the music, the musical numbers is a bit too much. I think the back end is where it really picked up. Like I watched it again and I skipped to the last episodes. I fucking couldn't do it. But this looks like a lot what WandaVision was. And I really enjoyed WandaVision because I liked the old school sitcom kind of feel. And with this, A, they have James Spader, which is one of my favorite actors. B, we haven't seen Ultron in fucking ages. So I really thought that in that movie, he was good. The problem was the movie was okay. Avengers 2 wasn't bad. It's just that I think what they did with Ultron was not very good. So it would be very interesting to see James Spader not only playing himself, like James Spader, like he has a avatar form, but also seeing him reprise Ultron. It's going to be interesting. And Paul Bettany's a great fucking actor. So having Bettany and Spader bouncing off of each other is just going to be awesome to see. As far as the kid goes, I fucking did not care for him in the Agatha All Along show. I thought his character was boring and flat. I don't know why they keep on trying to make Wanda's kids a thing. They weren't good in the comics. The power scaling is all over the place because essentially they're the most fucking powerful beings in the Marvel universe. They have like Wanda's fucking power and Vision's power. It gets ridiculous. And I think this is where Marvel really fell off, introducing all of these different elements that just don't connect with everyday people. Like who remembers WandaVision? I'm fairly sure a lot of people forgot about that. And Agatha All Along, while it was popular, it's one of those shows you watch and you forget. So it's so weird that now they're releasing the end of this trilogy where they should have did it WandaVision, Agatha All Along, and then VisionQuest. And boom, you have your own self-contained story. I don't know why they took like 5 years to release the final fucking thing in this trilogy. So I'm going to go back through and I'm going to rate and rank them all in order that I like them. Yeah, I agree. The problem with TV series is it's just a glorified character introduction or reintroduction. I think that's why I like WandaVision more, is because it's not really a reintroduction. It has its own story, but I get what you're saying. Like, for instance, with Captain America and the Winter Soldier, right? That was so much time was wasted reestablishing everything before we got to anything. And then by the time you get to the good stuff, you've wasted so much time on this shit that nobody cares about. So I totally agree with what you're saying. I think, though, that the Wanda and Vision stories are a little bit different because their stories are not following anything that's currently going on in the MCU, and they're kind of like their own self-contained thing. And I think that Marvel needs more of these. Like, I like Werewolf by Dawn, or Werewolf by Midnight. I like that. I like the Punisher one-off. Like, I think Marvel needs to do more things that people can just watch, and it's its own little thing, and you don't have to watch it to see the next fucking 5 movies. It's getting to a point where they're too big and there's too much offshoots and people can't keep up with everything. And I think that's the biggest thing that's going to hurt Doomsday is there's no connective tissue between these last movies and this movie coming up. There's like nothing in between there. Even the new Spider-Man does nothing with Doom. Does not even mention Doom, which is fucking weird because Spider-Man's going to be in the movie. So I'm very, very, very highly intrigued to watch Avengers Doomsday. I really want to see if they can pull it off. I did watch the new trailer, and I got to tell you guys, I'm thinking Downey's got nailed Doomsday. Like, he doesn't use a voice changer either. He literally learned a different accent. I was watching the behind the scenes. On Disney Plus, you can watch the making of thing. Robert Downey Jr. actually developed a dialect for this movie. Like, he took what Latveria is supposed to be and like what that culture is, and he mixed like 2 different dialects to get Dr. Doom's voice. So I think the people are going to put in effort. It's just, is it going to be hyped enough? Are people going to care enough? Because by the time you got to Infinity War and Endgame, the fucking hype was off the chain. Like, everything was so well crafted. This movie does not have any momentum. People can argue with me and say, you know, the diehard Marvel stands are going to sit there and say, oh, well, there's this connection and this connection. But what about the fucking normal movie person? They do not give a shit what happened in episode 3 of fucking Wonder Guy. You know, nobody's fucking watching that stuff. So when you do a big budget movie like this, the normal moviegoer hasn't seen the 5 fucking shows that came on Disney Plus to be caught up with this. It's just kind of weird. I think they really need to separate their stuff much better than they've been doing. I would prefer a different actor as Doom. Robert Downey Jr. is a great actor. So I will give him a chance no matter what role he's in, because Robert Downey Jr., one thing you can't accuse the man of is he doesn't give 110%. And he seemed pretty excited about playing this role. So I'm going to hopefully not be wrong about this, but I feel like the energy and the intensity is there. And it'll just be fucking interesting. Like, really, I think to make this work, this has to be a variation of Tony Stark, because there's no way, at least in everybody's mind, it's going to work out unless there's some kind of like multiversal fuckery. Like, it just not going to make sense. I mean, they could do it like, oh, this is like what Iron Man could have become, and he's not Iron Man in this universe. You know what I mean? They could do that, but I think story-wise, it would not make any fucking sense whatsoever. So I'm not going to say I'm super excited. I would say that I was more hyped for Spider-Man than I was Avengers, but I'm still curious. And I'm a total whore for member berries. So you got the original X-Men, I'm there. Okay, I love my OG X-Men. I know they're probably going to be in like the beginning of the movie because you know all of them are not going to live. I know they're probably going to wipe out half of the characters because they got brand new casting for a lot of the different actors, and a lot of them are leaving. But I would like to believe that if anybody can pull it off, it's the Russos. Like, you might not like their other movies. I like 21 Bridges. I thought that was good. But anyways, that is the point. The Russos have not let me down with an Avengers movie since they've been doing them. And until the directors shit the bed, I'm not going to prejudge a movie just on like 2-minute trailers, because it's a 2-hour movie and There's a lot of behind the scenes fuckery. There's a lot of money at play. But I think that if two people can pull it off, it's the Russo bros. They dealt with Captain Marvel in Endgame, and I think they handled that situation great. So when it comes to crafting stories in this universe, they haven't missed, and that's just a fact. In Marvel, not one of their movies have missed. This could be the first, but I think they understand this world a lot better than even Kevin might. The most of the big Marvel channels seem to think Cillian Murphy will appear as the real Doom. Yeah, I heard that. Here's and the funny part about that. I'm glad you bring that up. The funny part about that is Cillian Murphy is still shooting the new 28 Years Later movie. They are making the third film, supposedly. I don't want to trick too soon. That's the word around the water cooler. And he's also attached onto other different movies. So I don't think he's going to be in this movie. I would, because I've heard the casting that Adam Driver is supposed to be cast as Mr. Sinister in the new X-Men. That would be cool to have him show up as kind of a teaser. But I really think if they want to nail this, they need to push forward the people that are going to be taking over. I'm not saying you got to introduce the X-Men before their own movie, but you should drop teases because they did. Well, I don't want to give away spoilers, but if you've seen Spider-Man, you know. Anyways, my whole point is that it would be a cool way to introduce the X-Men or the new version of the X-Men and kind of get them all, established or at least in the public eye, and we can get a good idea of what we're working with. And it'll be a nice send-off to all of the characters that have shaped the universe so far. I disagree. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to disagree with you. Sadie Sink is a very underrated actress. For me, if we're real talk, if we're being completely honest, Sadie Sink was the best part of the last couple of seasons of Stranger Things. I think that the story was a little wonky with some stuff, but I don't think people have a serious beef, and I think people forget the comics. Jean is not she's done a lot of fucked up shit. So I really find it weird, the argument of how Jean is portrayed. It seems to fit for me because if you've read the comics or seen the old X-Men cartoons, she's done horrible shit since she was young. She can't control her powers and very susceptible to her emotions manipulating her powers. So, I mean, me personally, I thought it was fine. I thought it was pretty cool, actually. And I think that the one thing I loved is they really showed exactly how powerful she is. Because keep in mind, Jean, Magneto, Professor Xavier, I think I'm forgetting some other ones. I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but they're Omega level mutants, which means they are the tippy top. Their powers can literally end the world. That's how powerful they are. So I think it was. I think it was fine. She might you might like her as an actress, but the material. Well, that's what I'm saying. The material was kind of. Yeah, the directors say that, but once again, yeah, I agree with you. The movie did not portray that. It's definitely a villain, 100%. She's literally the antagonist of the movie. See that stuff. I agree with you, and this is the problem that I have with movies that get released, especially now. I hate when a director goes and starts making stupid comments. We've seen this in Stranger Things with the fucking Duffer clowns, Game of Thrones, right? Where these directors come and they explain their stupid fucking choices. And you sit there and you go, that is not what you put on film. I get to an extent that technically she's not the bad guy, the damage control dude is. And technically she does have a motivation for what she's doing, but all the shit she did, dude, I'll be honest with you. I was like, bro, she straight up did some villain shit. Like, dude, like my boy Punisher had like every reason. Like normally when the Punisher goes off on his own like crazy shit and he's like, I'm just fucking taking a fucker out and I don't care what the heroes think. I'm like, oh, come on, Frank, like calm down. But I was like, dude, when I got to this scene, I was like, Frank, take that bitch out. Take her out. She needed to go. And I think that what they did, as far as it goes, I understand people's gripes. I do think, though, her interactions with Peter and that emotional core was very good. And I'll be honest with you, I like Jessica Fromka, I think is the original Jean Grey. I like her performance, but I think Sadie Sink has really nailed a younger version of her. That's just my own personal opinion. Y'all seen that fourth season of Stranger Things, right? Dude, that Running Up the Hill song, I know it's played out, but look, that whole scene where she's running away and all the emotions are flying and shit, dude, that's where I was like, this girl's got it. And I think she understands the character well. Now, I'm not going to blame her in this movie because you could clearly see how they were writing it. The writing's a little janky. But I'd have to see going forward what they're going to do with her character. That's the biggest thing. Whether she's going to land for me or not, I got to see her in more stuff. Because really, she's a weird, like almost a plot device, a glorified cameo, but central to the plot all at once. Because we don't really see her till almost halfway through the film. So, I mean, it's kind of, it's really weird. It's definitely, it was a choice. To be fair, it's all pointless now that you love Franklin and Cosmic Ghost Rider coming in with Galactus. Its writers' wet dreams have a level of reality warping characters in it. Yeah, dude, I don't know what their obsession is with reality bending and multiversal bullshit. I can't stand any of it. For me, Stranger Things was bad aside from Sadie Bruh's brother and Eddie, who is now Human Torch. Yeah, I gotta say, Stranger Things for me should have been a one and done. I'm just a completionist. Honestly, I haven't liked the show since probably I hated season 3. Season 2 was okay, except for the one episode. We all know what that episode is. And then season 4 was a good start. I thought they were gonna like have a banger. Like, dude, Vecna on paper is a great fucking final villain. What they wrote for him was a bunch of bullshit. Like, dude, Vecna was in theory a great big bad. Like, especially the introduction where he fucked like Nightmare on Elm Street's that girl. Loved it. But the thing I appreciate the most about the 4th season of Stranger Things is that you really get to see Sadie Sink's acting abilities. And that's where I knew she's definitely got it. I don't know what it is, but she's able to get that vulnerability. And this swings me back around to the Jean Grey thing. When you're playing a character like Jean Grey, you need to be able to hit those big emotional beats. I even didn't mind Sophie Turner in X-Men Dark Phoenix or whatever. I liked Sophie Turner's performance. I fucking hated the movie. To this day, it's one of my most hated movies. But this is the issue that I have. Jean Grey has always been fucked over in every X-Men property. I mean, that's just the truth. The only time Jean Grey has gotten any kind of shine is the 97 X-Men cartoon series. Not the new one, but the older ones. The new one makes Gambit and Cyclops awesome again. But, like, Jean Grey is a tough character to do because her power scaling is literally all over the place. So, like odds are, the story for Doomsday is that he takes Love's power, Franklin's power, and there is one more cosmically broken character that I'm blanking on power and replace them with the Beyonder storyline. I mean, That's totally possible. I definitely could see that because in Doomsday's lore, that's what he does. He steals powers from people, kind of adds it on to his own. Um, I would really like them to get rid of all these stupid powered people because they're doing Battle World. So that's essentially going to be them merging everything into one world. So I really am hoping this is going to be a reset where they learn how to manage these characters better, because the Marvel Universe has a lot of powerful characters and you can't throw them into everything because it would be over. Like, there's some beings in the Marvel Universe that are just too fucking powerful. And I think that's the problem Marvel has run into. When they were keeping it with more grounded people and a little bit of the fantastic, it was okay. But like when they brought in Wanda and her kids, and they brought in the fucking multiverse, and they brought in Galactus and all these people, it threw the power scaling out the fucking window. Because now either your villain is nerfed or your heroes are nerfed, or they nerf the heroes for a little bit and make the villain strong, and then the villain becomes a fucking idiot and they nerf him at the back end of the movie so the heroes can win. I really think it's been a huge, and I'm probably being redundant, but it's been a huge fucking problem is the writing, because Marvel has not gotten good writers who could manage all of these different moving parts. I'd imagine the Savior team this time is going to be the 3 Spider-Man, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Galactus as a different Franklin's Herald. Yeah, I you know what? I would love to see Spider-Man actually save the universe. That would be hilarious. Or do a live action meme thing, when they're pointing at the Spider-Man. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I would definitely like to see that. That would be hilarious. And I gotta be honest with you. My Ghost Rider now and forever is Nick Cage. I am happy with Ryan Gosling. I think he's a great actor. I think he could do the role. But I'm sorry, as bad as those movies are, you guys know here on the channel, I'm a Nicolas Cage whore. And just for me, my Ghost Rider is always going to be Nick Cage. The scene where he is on his bike and he's pissing off the side of the bike and it's fire will be probably the best comic gem in a fucking movie. I have never laughed so hard in my life. And the scene makes no fucking sense, but it's so great. Like, everything about the first Ghost Rider movie is stupid and corny. But if I don't fucking love how much Nick Cage gets into the fucking role, especially where he's trapped in the prison and then he just starts doing the penance stare on all the prisoners, I honestly think some of those old Marvel movies need to be re-examined because they are not as bad as I remember, especially going back to some of them. It's fucking hilarious. Oh, yeah. Cosmic Ghost Rider, Nick Cage, dude, 10 out of 10. If they bring back Nick Cage in any of these movies for a cameo, I'm just going to let you know, full bias showing, I'm giving it a straight 10 out of 10. Just because you threw Nick Cage in there. Dude, I'm sorry, but you could say the movies that Nick Cage was in, like the specific Ghost Rider movies, weren't the best, but his acting, fucking top tier. Top tier. Dude, he is everything I envision Johnny Blaze being. If you read the comics, Johnny Blaze is a sarcastic, snarky asshole and very selfish in the beginning of the run. And as he goes on, he gains this kind of wisdom because I believe he's the longest holder of the Ghost Rider before they did Robbie Reyes and the other incarnations. I can't remember the other one because it was such a weak run. But anyways, Nick Cage just hit Johnny Blaze so perfect. Like, he was locked the fuck in that movie. He was in the zone. And I just find it like crazy that so many people don't like that movie. His acting is perfect for the level of battle between two personalities. Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. That's the other thing that is important for someone playing Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is a separate entity. It's the spirit of vengeance. It's kind of like with the deal with like Venom. Those Venom movies are not very good, but Tom Hardy makes them fucking things work. And honestly, it's the back and forth that makes it great. And in Ghost Rider, like the struggle and the way Nick Cage is very physical in the movie and how he conveys it is just fucking top tier for me. Like, dude, I know the graphics weren't the best, but when he fucking takes the motorcycle or rides it up the side of the fucking building, I remember that to this day. I saw that movie in the theaters and I saw it twice. And I'm probably the only person alive on earth who voluntarily saw the Ghost Rider movie in theaters 2 times in a row. I fucking love that movie. Like, look, I also like Doom with Carl Urban and The Rock, just because of how hilariously bad that movie is. You can't tell me one of the funniest lines in a movie, besides everything in the M. Night Shyamalan movie, the funniest line I ever heard was when The Rock gets dragged by the fucking demons in the door, and he's like, "I'm not supposed to die like this," and the fucking thing grabs like sometimes when I go back there and I watch these older movies, I think that at the time I might have judged them harshly, especially considering all of the fucking garbage we get. That's nice, it's pretty, but it's just pure shit. Oh yeah, rumor has it Henry Cavill is signing a major role. Most people think Beyond or Hyperion, but I think he'll be Magneto after the casting of. You know what? I'm gonna say I think that's a very strong possibility. Because when I heard Henry Cavill was casted, those were the things that jumped out in my mind. But honestly, I think he'd do an excellent Magneto. My only thing is, Eric isn't that ripped. So he would be a rather swole Magneto. But then again, in the comics and in a lot of fighting games and things like that, Magneto is pretty buff. It's just, I always picture Ian McKellen as Magneto, and he's more of a thinner dude. So like all the variations of Magneto, like Michael Fassbender, he's built, but he's not built like Cavill. So it'll be very interesting to see if they do have Henry be Magneto. Like, is he gonna be like this in the fucking suit? Dude, he'd be a Magneto that would just scare the shit out of you because of how big he is. But they are going with basically teen versions of the X-Men. I think they should. And they're not all teens. Sadie Sink is like 26 years old. I'm thinking they're doing a younger X-Men. I don't think it's going to be a teen X-Men. A lot of the actors that they have are in their early to mid 20s. And I'll be honest with you, it's smart casting, because here's the thing. You want to cast people who are going to do the franchise for years to come. And I'll be honest, I didn't know all of the people that they casted, but most of the people I saw, pretty good choices. The Adam Driver as Mr. Sinister, whoever thought of that idea, give that man a raise. Fucking, when I saw the side-by-side of him with his fucking beard and long hair and then a picture of Sinister, you could not have casted anybody better for that role, at least looks-wise. And we all know, I know people give Adam Driver shit for Star Wars, but he's a great actor. Watch anything else that Adam Driver has done, except for that dinosaur movie. He is leagues better than people give him credit for. And so I think this will be the thing that really will bring up his profile. Yeah, like Star Wars was supposed to do that, but I'm really hoping this is where we kind of see him have his own little franchise, because I think he's a great actor, and I think the character is a perfect choice for him. I don't think you could pick a better. Sadie Sink isn't going to grow up anymore, so in 10 years she'll be 5'3". Well, to be fair, Jean Grey isn't that massively big. She looks bigger when you watch the animated shows just because of how it's drawn. But I think canonically, she's not the biggest of the X-Men. Maybe Jubilee or Rogue is shorter than her. She might be tall. You might have me there. She might be taller than her. I really would have to go back through and super nerd out and read all of my things. There won't be visual aging processes for the characters based on the actors they choose. There won't be a visual aging process for the characters based on the actors they choose. Well, you have to also remember, too, these movies take like 5 to 10 years to come out, so everybody will be much older in between movies. And I'm gathering when they contract people, they contract them for at least 3 to 4 movies. So what's up, PB? Our fearless leader. He had internet issues. Good to see you. I'm just kind of wrapping everything up. You see what happens when you're not on here? I can only go like under 2 hours. She's grown, but Pop Culture PB says she's grown up plenty. People want her to grow out. Oh, man. See, this is the kind of witty humor that we miss when the co-host and fearless co-leader is not here. But anyways, that's going to do it. A bit of a shorter one today. Once again, my condolences to the family members of Hayden Panettiere. Truly sad news, and hopefully we find out a little bit more about that situation, because I would be curious, although I do kind of got an idea of how she passed away. But other than that, I appreciate you guys showing up. Thank you. Hopefully this was entertaining. I know it was a little depressing in the beginning because I had to do that whole news thing, but we will be doing more fun stuff here. I'm also going to be bringing tier list back. I'm working that out. I would like to hopefully do a tier list tomorrow night. I got to work it out with the other people who are going to be joining me, so I will keep you guys posted. I've seen a ton of movies, and I'm going to kind of rank them as I go and give reviews as I rank them, because I've seen so many movies. It's just too much for me to save the cheerleaders, save the world. We're fucked. Yeah, dude, I concur. Oh man, see, PB's got to make me depressed before I leave. Anyways, but yeah, definitely check out our tier list. I'm gonna have more movie reviews coming. I am definitely going to be doing a sort of pre-ranking to let you guys know where I'm at as we get closer to the end of the year. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. My top 10 list is going to be fun this year. So this year I'm going to have a top 10 best movies, top 10 best horror, and then I'm going to have a top 10 television shows, which is going to be the first for this year. And of course, my top 10 worst movies of the year, which I, for the first time ever, am going to include television shows, because there are 2 television shows that premiered this year that had such a bad fucking ending. They deserve to be on my worst list. They might be worse than the movies that I saw that were bad. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Fucking Stranger Things and The Boys was quite possibly the worst finals I've seen in years. Fucking terrible. I can't describe to you how pissed off I was at the end of those finales. And so I'm not going to say they're at the top, but they're pretty fucking close. So that's going to be, most people struggle to get through those movies, TV series, which I can't blame them. Oh yeah, I agree. Some of those shows were rough. I mean, I wouldn't say every project after Endgame was bad, but a good majority of them are. Yeah. Eric Kripke, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't even say it was the politics that ruined the show. I mean, that was definitely a big contributor. It was more of the way he constructed the show and the fact that he fucking lied and said that there was going to be the fucking Amazon poster lied. And that's why it's making it on my top 10 worst list, because the nuts and bolts behind what happened to the boys is insane, and I can't wait to explain why the show turned out the way that it did, because it was from Amazon not giving them enough money to Eric Kripke just not giving a flying fuck and contributing nothing to the story. We were covering it, and he did not have any writing credits. Literally, I think Eric Kripke didn't give a flying fuck. That's just my theory. I think he had offers for new stuff. He's got the new spinoffs coming out, and he just did not give a fuck about the flagship series. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I love, what's his name? Soldier? The Soldier Boy? Was it? Soldier Boy? Yeah. It is probably one of my favorite characters on The Boys. But I don't give a fuck about watching a prequel after you shit the bed with the ending. I do not care. I'm not going to watch The Boys Mexico because that's going to be fucking highly political, and I don't need to watch it to know that. And I don't care about them not killing characters so they can bring them back for a spinoff. I think it was the most lazy, uninspired ending I've seen to a show in years. Yeah, the show cost $15 million an episode, and I don't know where the budget went, if I'm being honest with you, because that finale was so fucking terrible. I'd really like to know where the money went, because they didn't even have the biggest fights. They had bigger fights in the previous season than they did in the final. It's fucking insane. Yeah, but anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hit the like, share, subscribe, hype, all the YouTube bullshit. Tell your friends, families, cousins, random stranger. Just be like, hey, I know this awesome channel. Watch this guy. He's got a cool hat. Anyways, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all. And I will be here next Tuesday to break down the box office, do some more random stories, and just hang out with all of you guys and have fun. And as always, remember, there is only one rule here in the fandom zone: kneel before General Zod.